One statistic in this video should be enough to strike fear into the hearts of the net zero zealots around the world. Boomers and Gen Xers were never going to be the ones to buy into the madness of net zero, because they've been around long enough and seen too much to be taken in by that kind of snake oil. However, the hip young Gen Zers and millennials have spent their formative years in schools and colleges which have been taken over by the long march through the institutions and which have indoctrinated them, very successfully in many cases, into believing that the planet will end if we don't stop driving cars. They were, so they thought, young and naive enough to be conned by the whole urgency of the transition to EVs and net zero, and it would be them that governments would rely on to push it through, bullying their parents into following the brave new green agenda. But as we shall see, that, at least in relation to EVs, ain't happening. If you're after EV and net zero sanity, you've come to the right place. Welcome to MGUY, British engineer and lawyer, now Sydney YouTuber. If you like my videos and content, please be sure to like, share and subscribe, hit the notification bell and drop a comment down below. Jerry is a US-based insurance and finance provider which every year puts out a survey called the State of the American Driver. And this year's has just been released based on data obtained in November and December of 2023. It includes a section on EVs and hybrids which makes very interesting reading. The summary states, "The growing enthusiasm towards EVs cooled in 2023 while interest in hybrids heated up. New EV models piled up on dealer lots as sales failed to meet expectations, despite a flurry of price cuts and a new federal tax credit that made EVs more affordable than ever. By the end of the year, multiple automakers had delayed planned EV-related investments and the introduction of new EV models, as analysts speculated that mass adoption in the US had hit a speed bump. And when we look at the details, it's even more interesting. The number of people who said they were interested in buying or leasing an EV as their next vehicle dropped from a year earlier. The steepest decline was among members of Gen Z, from 61% to 41%. Only boomers expressed less interest, 31%, than Gen Z. Here's a chart showing how the interest in EVs has evaporated in the last 12 months. All the metrics are down. Millennials have also dropped significantly. EVs are still more expensive than gas-powered cars and hybrids, though the difference is narrowed after this year's EV price cuts. But the inconvenience of charging a fully electric vehicle and those vehicles' limited driving range remain the top obstacles for a majority of drivers, and those concerns have grown over the past year. But the resistance runs deeper than that. More than half, 54%, of car owners who said they were not interested in buying an EV as their next vehicle said they wouldn't consider one even if charging an EV were as quick and convenient as filling up with gas. Nearly half, 44%, said they simply prefer a gas-powered car. And as the interest in pure EVs disappears, hybrids are experiencing a resurgence. The hybrid returns to prominence. Those concerns about driving range and charging needs help explain why hybrid sales are on pace to top EV sales in 2023, just a year after EV sales beat hybrids for the first time ever. Both Toyota and Ford expect to quadruple their hybrid sales over the next 5 years, and Honda plans to expand its hybrid offerings. It's not just that EVs are more expensive. When asked to choose between two hypothetical, identical vehicles with the same price, a hybrid that does not require charging and an EV that does, 83% said they would choose the hybrid. The most frequently cited reason, 66%, was the option to use gas, followed by limited EV driving range, 57%, and the inconvenience of charging EVs, 52%. You can check out the full report at the link in the description. Hybrids are a very compelling option if you're looking to reduce emissions, notwithstanding potential lithium-ion battery issues, but they don't have the huge drawbacks associated with pure EVs. But, as we all know, hybrids aren't good enough. Merely reducing emissions doesn't appease the zealots of net zero. Vehicles must be zero emissions or nothing, not just better than they were. And you can see from this survey just how big the gap is between government expectations and public reality. And it's all heading in the wrong direction. EVs are becoming even less popular as the market is saturated and ordinary folk decide to stick with their gas-powered car and avoid all the grief of EV ownership. I hope this kind of survey sends a very clear message to the environmental extremists pushing for net zero by 2050. Ordinary people just aren't buying it. Well, Well, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Drop a comment down below and let me know what you think. If you have any tips or stories, you can hit me up on Instagram or by email, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.